Hi. Welcome back to DMAC Customs YouTube channel. Dave here. Part 4.5 of the custom console. Now you're probably getting sick of the custom console, but these things take time and it's still not finished. But I picked up my bits of routed aluminium from Pure CNC Works here in New Zealand, in Tauranga, and they're pretty much on point. The only mistakes in them are my own from my file creation, and just could have done things a little bit different, but that's a moot point. We're going to put them in anyway because they still look pretty good. There's just a couple of things I could do different if I was to cut them again, but I'm splitting straws and stuff now, splitting hairs now. So let's get in it, get at it, and I'll show you what I'm on about. Pretty sure that'll be okay. Maybe thought I'd try the kind of most complex bit first to see if I could do it. Ta-da! If you could just quickly subscribe while I'm doing this little talk about subscribing, that would be really cool. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. Cheers. So, if you've watched the last four videos I've done on this custom console that I've been building for the Area 51 project, you might have seen my little paper templates and stuff that I had sent away to get routed out. So I've got them all back the other day from Pure CNC Works in Tauranga here, and now I've just got to fit everything, and I've got to put a slight curve, a couple of little curves into this without damaging it. So that's what I'm gonna attempt to do first, so I can put that into there and get the slight curve to follow the profile of that. Yeah? Okay, so let's get at it. Not quite sure how I'm going to put a curve in this, but we'll figure it out, I'm sure, eventually. It's 4mm alley, so slip rollers would be really handy, but I haven't got any, so I'll have to find something else around here that I can use to get it. It doesn't need to be much, it's just a couple of little points that I need to get it to follow that ever so slight radius. Yeah? Okay. So I'm going to have a hunt around and see what I can find. And then we'll go from there. Yeah? Okay. There we go, the old shop press to the rescue again. Wasn't really sure how that was going to go. I was kind of a bit worried that it would put like sort of segmented kind of kinks and folds and stuff in there, but it seemed to work okay. So there's still quite a nice-ish curve, and hopefully the fasteners will pull it down the rest of the way. Either that or it'll pull the whole thing out of shape. The whole console, that is. But maybe I should put a little bit more into it. I'll put a little bit more into it and then we'll sort the screws out. Yeah. Ooh, hopefully that's it now. Put a little bit too much into it, it's rocking now, but that's alright. That'll be alright. That'll be alright. That'll be alright. I promise. Well, I won't make any promises I can't quite keep just yet, but pretty sure that'll be okay. Maybe fit up in there. Primo. Got a plan. So this bit here goes like there, see? And that bit there goes like there, see? And then if you watched the other video, you might have seen the explanations about this. That piece will go up there, but around the other way, that way. And I might round off this leading edge. I didn't think of that when I kind of decided to do all this, because that leaves like a little sort of V-shaped edge there. So I can't take too much off it because the screw heads will kind of be in that vicinity as well. So if I take too much off this edge to kind of like put a bevel on it, it'll end up getting close to the screw heads, which will be around, you know, I don't know, these ones. Like that big. And then if I do put washers on, they're going to go even further. So but so putting a rounded edge on it might be better, maybe. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to do that neatly and stuff, but we'll figure it out. Before I go too far though, I've got to drill some holes into this piece for that, because for some reason I didn't put them into the files that I sent through, and I don't know why. At the time there was a logical reason for it, and I can't remember what that reason was, so I'm going to do it now by hand, whereas I got all the other holes drilled on the CNC router, which I thought was the smart money, so I wouldn't be doing this and running the risk of getting shit crooked and wonky with my, you know, drilling them by hand and stuff. So I don't know where it is. I'll find my crappy centre punch, which never wants to work first time round. Hey, puss. So far so good, they seem to be lining up, which is always a good thing. Right, next up, so I want to get that ready to fit into there. That's going to go in before the piece. So like if I'm taking the console out, that'll come out and that'll come out, and then the console can come out. Yeah? Okay. And we're going to mark this accurately. It's not going to fit. I'm going to find a sharp pencil. Okay, found a sharpish pencil, but it's really little. You'd think I'd have full-size pencils and that in here, eh? It should be alright. Uh-oh. Okay, holes all drilled for the riv-nuts. Did try putting the self-tapper in just to kind of pull it all down and hold it all in place and that, which worked, but then it kind of pulled off a little bit and then I ended up just taking it out. I only had 2 more holes to drill, so I was kind of wasting my time. So I'm going to put riv-nuts in here and then on from there. Alright, start chucking some screws in here and see how everything lines up. Really? For some reason this riv-nut here or this particular fastener has got a problem, so just run a tap down it and clear the way. Oh, come on, try that again. Just got to run the tap through here just to clear it out. That particular button he didn't want to go in there, so could be a little bit of damage to the thread on the riv-nut, or it could be actually damaged thread on that. But yeah, I'll just give it a little clean out and try it again. I'll get so far and then it would stop. Ah, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas, I think. Beauty. Similar issue with this one here, so could be on a funny angle, or it could be I did something wrongish. Okay, so got that sort of screwed in there with the little button head screws. Found a little flaw in my procedure, you could say. Now that I've got that tightened down properly, I should have done that first off. Like, I just wanted to jump ahead, I just wanted to see what it looks like in there. Because now that that's pulled in, it's opened up a gap across the back here, so what I might do with that is just open up the holes on this sort of centerpiece, just to give me a little bit of more adjustment room. I've got plenty of room, they're only small holes, 5mm holes or something, with a 4mm button head going through them, so I could probably give me another half a mil or even a millimetre, could open them up to like a 6mm hole and still have plenty of room for that little button head to cover the thing, I think, cover the hole, yeah? So next up, I'm just going to run some taps through these other holes for the boot hold downs, and then, yeah, go from there. Going to do these by hand, the slow old-fashioned way. so I don't snap the bit in the drill. This might take a while. Exciting taption going on. Get it? Taption? Dad joke. Just a little tip. Use some lubricant on your taps and dies when you're doing tapping and dyeing, because it does make quite a bit of difference. I discovered as I was getting to the end of doing all of these, doing them dry, now they're going a lot nicer. I always forget that, but anyway, carry on. Replacing the tap that I broke twice last week. Ta-da! Okay, another tip, don't buy one of these off Wish. Even if it is free, you just got to pay the postage. $4 is still too much for this. I just haven't managed to remember to buy another one, proper good one, when I'm out buying tools. But yeah, so there we have it. So we got all our pieces fitted in. Not too bad. I probably should have tried to get that curve into that kind of the same way I did this. Now I've got a bit of a kink here and a bit of a high spot there, but yeah, there's a bit of a gap there and there, but it's probably not really that much of an issue. But there's going to be that's going to be the hold down for the boot, for the gator, or whatever you want to call it, for whatchamacallit, the shifter. Same deal on that piece there. So not quite sure how that's actually going to work with the leather or vinyl or whatever sitting underneath it. It's going to raise it up a little bit anyway. Cross that bridge when we come to it. We may end up cutting another one of those, maybe a little bigger, or maybe routing some sort of like little bit into the back of it. Who knows yet? And this is a little sort of surround for the air ride control, just under here. Little surround there for the air ride control. See what I've got to put up with? Like these guys on their bloody ATVs and quad bikes riding up and down the road all the time. Live fairly close to a beach where you can actually drive them on the road to get to the beach, and you can drive them on the beach as well. So can't really complain, but I will. No, so there we go. Yeah, so there we have it. That's it all basically in there now. And a few other little things I want to do. I'm going to open up the holes on this part here so I can slide it back ever so slightly. I'm thinking about rounding the edges on these, or just putting a bit of a round on there, maybe rounding the corners in here. Got a little bit of trimming to do in there. I don't know why that doesn't quite match up, because I'm sure I checked that when I did the files, but knowing me, I probably changed something on the files, and yeah, that's how it ended up. But yeah, so there it is. I'm just going to take it all apart again and see if I can rebend that a little bit nicer and make those little adjustments that I want to make. I really got to go and buy some Allen key attachments for my drill thing, so I don't have to spend hours and hours just winding these things in and out and in and out when I come to put this all back together. Oh, and I might bevel that edge there, just flatten it off a wee bit so it kind of runs down, and so crap like that won't build up in it quite so much, hopefully. You probably noticed the fitment on some of this. When I did my files, I actually did that intentionally, but I didn't realise. I actually thought this was more wonky, so I've kind of allowed for putting a bit of filler in there. This side wasn't too bad, but now kind of, when I got this cut, I probably could have straightened that out more, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. But got plenty of room to put a bit of filler in to clean up that edge now though, so I won't fill it all the way, but yeah, I'll put some in there, and then we'll may recut these. Maybe later on once all this is finished, now that I've cut them all once and can figure out what's what I've done wrong, and I might redo them. But at this point, that they're good enough for now, being that the car's nowhere near finished and whatnot. But once we get this console sort of straightened out and smoothed out, we might reassess that and might get my friend Rhonda to cut them out again, since she did such a lovely job of it, and my files were the letdown part. That's how we roll. Okay, so I've got all of this apart now again, and now I'm just going around fixing up all of the things that I did wrong in my files that I sent through to be routed, which is just filing down these edges and a couple other little things like that, and yeah, by hand. Okay, so update. I'm gonna round the edges, well, kind of like do a bevel, but like with a soft edge rather than a sharp edge sort of thing around these pieces. I've already done this bit. Thought I'd try the kind of most complex bit first to see if I could do it, and quite like that look. I'm going to do it to this bit and this bit. So I stopped throwing my pen around. Well, got all these pieces all rounded off and kind of polished the edge. It's not full polish, but it's kind of got a satin sort of finish on there. But I got some kind of gluey stuff came off that covering that was on there, which is leaving marks on there. But that'll clean off. I just need to go over there and get some. Remove the stuff, the bug and tar or degreaser stuff, that'll take it off. Might have seen me using the grinder on the edges. I used this funny little disc here that came in a kind of kit that I bought. I just was in a desperate need for some flapper discs since I'd go to the chain store hardware and bought this kind of kit, and it's got like a polishing wheel, and it's got a polishing wheel, and this thing here which is like a sponge polishing disc thing, and it works quite good, surprisingly enough. I'm not really sure 100% what it is, but it works quite good on alloy and stainless, you know, for like polishing with the grinder. It's can be a little unforgiving. I wouldn't use it for like a final polish on like a, you know, sheet of stainless or something. I'd probably use a softer wheel, but for kind of taking out sanding marks and stuff like on the edges of that thing, have a look. I don't know whether you can get them where you live, but you can get them in New Zealand, so probably get them anywhere, and probably better stuff too. So there you are. Right, I'm gonna put all this together, take all the protective coverings off and put it all together. I know I probably shouldn't, because I'm gonna have to store all these bits without damaging them. But yeah, I just want to take it all off and put all that on there so we can have a look. Sure, it'll be cool, eh? So we went from this paper printed out rendition to that, and like that. Oosh, cool, eh? I'm quite happy with that. Makes the air eye controller look a little bit scody, and I've already managed to scratch it. So I may have to like brush this and then maybe clear coat it, try and protect it from my scratchy self. Yeah, look at that. See? That's how that's gonna fit in there. There's a few little wonky bits on there, but most of them you won't really notice unless you're really looking. Well, that's a little bit crooked, but I think that's just because I tightened it up crooked. There is a little bit of play and adjustment in that. So yeah, as we talked about earlier, we'll have the boot for the shifter in there, and then the boot for the handbrake lever will come out there, and yeah, there we have it. What do you reckon? I reckon it looks quite cool. And this will be painted. Then we'll have the head unit. I want to get one of those kind of retro looking head units with chrome and stuff like that on it. So it'll kind of have shiny paint, upholstery. Cool to have a chrome bead that kind of went up around there, but I'm not sure if I've got the skills or the know-how or the connections to make that happen. So we'll ponder that though. It's still going to be a while before we get into painting this and doing the final finish on it and upholstery and all that kind of stuff. So I can still just let that tick over in my head on how I might be able to do that. The other thing is, once it's all painted and whatnot, I could actually just pinstripe a line around there. You know, decorate it up a little bit, you know, with the sort of skills I do have. Because I have been known to twiddle a little brush around every so often. Well guys, that's where we're going to leave a 4.5 episode of the custom console sort of thing. I promise that's it on the console for a while, until we get into doing the bodywork and paint and stuff like upholstery and stuff like that, or even just putting it into the Area 51. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be cool if you could hit the button and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, take it easy and peace.